We want to help children live the best lives possible. We want to keep them out of hospital. We want them in their homes. We want them at school more often. We want them playing with their friends. We want their families to feel less isolated and more connected. We want the certainty that a diagnosis brings. Rare and undiagnosed diseases are rare, but they're everywhere, and cumulatively they're extraordinarily common. So more than 60,000 children in Western Australia have a rare disease. That's enough to fill the entire new stadium.
I guess when everybody becomes pregnant with the baby, they want a perfect child. And you hear people say quite often, oh, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, I just want a healthy baby. And I remember that used to really hurt me because I would think, I didn't ask for an unhealthy baby. I did all the right things. I took my vitamins, I did what I was asked to do as far as carrying a baby, but you just can't guarantee that that baby is going to be born healthy. Andy had quite a traumatic birth, and following her birth she had seizures, and she was transferred to Princess Margaret Hospital to see if they could stabilise her and find out exactly why she was so unwell. They knew that she had some bowel issues, and they also confirmed that she'd had a very large stroke on the right side of her brain. So we found that very upsetting at the time because we sort of knew about her bowel issues, but to be hit with the fact that she had a stroke as well, and quite a significant stroke, was very upsetting. They tested her almost immediately for quite a few syndromes and they all came back negative. So we were still in limbo there. I remember one of the nurses said, I think it's just Andy syndrome. And we've sort of gone with that for a long time because it just seems like, yeah, it's going to take forever to find a diagnosis, and it quite possibly could be an Andy syndrome.
We first found out that there was sort of issues with Lily from our 7-week scan. She was already smaller. My whole pregnancy, she was like on the 2nd percentile, so really sort of small from the get-go. Lily was born at 34 weeks. Within a few hours, she developed severe hypoglycemia. So at pretty much 24 hours of age, she was transferred to PMH so that they could help her. Basically, she just was failing to thrive. She wasn't growing. She got sick at one point, ended up back on the intensive care. And then when she came home at 4 weeks of age, she was still tiny, only weighing 2 kilos.
PMH, because Lily was failing to thrive, said, can we add some cow's milk to the breast milk to try and add extra calories? So we did that, and Lily had a reaction straight away where she was vomiting, so we got admitted, where they started testing there and then for 3 days. Then 4 weeks later, Lily stopped eating entirely and vomiting and just had no appetite.
From then sort of came the barrage of different tests. Maybe it's some type of syndrome or condition. Genetics got involved, looking into if there's a genetic reason. And then we had surgeries like for the feeding tube, that sort of stuff. When she was young, we were at PMH maybe 4 times a week.
I had a normal pregnancy, normal birth. There was no sort of indications that anything was wrong. However, I started attending a mother's group, and Imogen was the oldest one there by a week, and I noticed that the other babies were interacting and smiling at their mothers, and we still hadn't got even a single smile at that age. Imogen was 4 months old then. Children sit up, between 4 and 6 months, generally around 6 months or even slightly later. Imogen wasn't even rolling at that point. That was concerning, as I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to call. That was the hardest time in my life. I wasn't dealing very well, coping very well at that point.
Without a diagnosis, you're homeless, you're stateless, you have no reference point, you cannot connect with other people in similar situations, you're left in a constant state of unknowing.
Just to access government support or even medical support, it's very difficult. It means lots and lots of paperwork and months of negotiation, and then maybe possibly still getting declined. It's just really frustrating and really difficult.
There's a lot of companies that are specifically on a certain diagnosis, and when you don't have a diagnosis, you don't know who to call.
Well, it was getting to the point where, we'd have a test, they'd say it's either inconclusive or the results are fine, or it's just the answer of, well, this is Lily, we may never know.
The Undiagnosed Diseases program started because there was a global need. But as well as a global need, we needed local action.
On her 7th birthday, I got a phone call explaining this Undiagnosed Diseases program, and would we be happy for Lily to be the first child as part of it. I said, I don't even know why you're asking, just do it.
Lily was 7 at the time that we saw her through the program. For many years, people have been trying to find a diagnosis, locally, nationally, internationally, working extraordinarily hard to do that. In that time, she'd had 50 hospital admissions. She'd had more than 200 outpatient visits. She'd had 14 general anaesthetics and still didn't have an answer.
When Gareth first called me, he explained that the program relied on, a team of specialists together for a week.
We got all the minds together and we created the dream team of people that combined wisdom, that combined knowledge in one place at one time, partnered with new technology, new ways of doing things. We could get an answer for Lily.
My name is Liliana Fretwell. I have trichorhepatoenteric syndrome.
We found a condition that literally affected 1 in 1 million people. As soon as we made that diagnosis, Lily was connected. Her family were connected. Suddenly, they were connected to a community of 40 other families around the world, living and breathing the same journey. They knew where they were, where they fitted. We knew as doctors what to do.
I know what the future entails, how to manage it. Support groups now can be more specified.
For a long time as well, you don't know if your child, if it's going to be something degenerative, if they're going to be okay. So to get an answer, that's just huge for parents.
I eventually found out that Imogen had 5q14.3 microdeletion syndrome. She's got a bigger deletion of the MEF2C gene, which is the biggest one for development. When you have a diagnosis, it takes a big weight off your shoulders. You're able to connect with services such as speech pathology, physiotherapy, occupational therapy. Not only that, we were able to connect via Facebook with other families on the east side of Australia, and we were able to share stories and find out that our children are similar.
For Andy, unfortunately, at this point in time, we don't have a diagnosis.
I think the most frustrating thing is that we don't know what her future will be. And it's very hard to offer her therapy or even medical intervention when we don't know what is actually wrong with her or why she has all these problems, or even for her future, whether she can have children or get a license or live a normal life. It's very difficult when we don't know what's going on.